So Radical Leftist 18 wanted me to do a video about the upcoming possible Olympics fiasco. We don't know yet if it's going to happen, but there's large speculation that it's going to happen, and a lot of people are pretty worried about it because London is a pretty populated area, and some believe that it's not just going to be a few hundred people that die, but thousands of people in a nuclear attack or something to that effect. And now, mind you, I have not done a lot of study on this subject, so I don't know the evidence that supports it, nor do I know, nor can I speculate what will happen. But I do think something will happen, and not because, you know, a scary video told me so, not because one of these more famous conspiracy theorists tells me so, not because I believe that strongly in some Illuminati force that wants to destroy mankind for eugenics purposes, to bring down the population for world control. That would certainly be a good reason to do it, but I don't think that's why this is happening. I want to explain something to you all that I've come to personally, why I do what I do, and I have no regrets for why I do it. People are cowards. It's that simple. People are cowards, and whatever Illuminati might or might not exist knows that they can act in accordance to their own will without being challenged. In fact, the more they test the limits of people's patience, and possibly even of a godlike being's patience, the more they prove to themselves how far they have come spiritually and physically. In other words, you have to be a dick in order to really see how much power you have. You don't have power until people can't tell you no. It's just that simple. As long as people can tell you no and stop you, you don't have power. But when people can't tell you no or won't tell you no, you have some kind of power. And they have conditioned mankind to not say no. They're too scared to say no. They're too stupid to say no. They're too chaotic and stuck in their own ways of iPods and porn and carrying a dead-end job to say no. So they can do whatever they want to. They don't need to do it in order to own more land. They already own the land. They already own the water, the air, the electricity. They already own the media. They own everything. There'd be no point to doing it for more control. Control is a menial part of it. It's the point of being the Superman. What is the Superman? The Superman is immortal. The Superman is invulnerable. The Superman is impenetrable. The Superman never has to worry about, someone taking his place. The Superman never has to worry of somebody punishing him and holding him responsible for his actions. And that's what this is about. That's the way they put it up in your face. That's why I put it up in your face. Am I of the magnitude of any Illuminati? No. No, by no means. But the point is, it's a spiritual thing. It is something philosophically where people can say it to your face, and there isn't shit you can do about it, or you just choose not to do anything about it. They don't have to lie to you. They don't have to deceive you. They don't have to sneak around. They don't have to, try to bargain with you, reason with you. Those are the calling cards of a petty animal. An animal has to appeal to your mercy. An animal has to sneak around and take something from you in the middle of the night when you're not looking and you're sleeping or whatever. An animal has to survive. This isn't about survival. This is about principle. And when you have power, you tend to have the opportunity to use principles to their most extreme ends. And therefore, it would be counterproductive for you to sneak around in the middle of the night. It would be counterproductive for you to live your life in secrecy, and nobody can ever mention anything. You have to make sure there's no clues left behind, or anything. It's not about arrogance. I'm sure arrogance has something to do with it. These people just think they are above the law, that they are above retribution, and that, they get lazy. But it's more than that. It's the fact that they know you're not going to do shit. And if you do shit, it only proves them right, because then they're going to challenge you back and defeat you. That's what this is about. They want you to fight back. They want you to resist them in order to prove themselves worthy of being called Supermen. That's what this is about. It's an open challenge. It's like an old-fashioned duel where they slap you in the face with a glove. But you're taking it like a little bitch. You're not going to fight back. And that just proves even more so that they have ultimate power. It's not even at this point about whether or not you could win. It's just the fact that your spirit is so broken, your minds are so plagued with false ideas, your emotions are mush, your hormones are all fucked up. You couldn't even imagine fighting back, let alone winning. So, I don't even know where to go with this. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how bad it's going to be if it happens. I don't even know what sort of economic or political manifestation would come about of it happening. But what I do know is that they can do it, and they probably will do it. And there won't be anything anybody will do about it, except for other Supermen that have their own ill intentions, that have their own will to power. And a lot of times, when you're a real Superman, you don't need to come into conflict with other Supermen, because principles transcend our mortal needs. We kill each other and eat each other and steal from each other to survive. Supermen don't need to worry about survival. So, I know it's a difficult concept to understand, living this life, having to work in order to sustain ourselves, even the most minimally. We have to survive on a minimum wage paycheck and try to juggle the competing demands of trying to pursue better things for ourselves. But at the same time, we need housing, we need food, we need shelter, we need clean water. So we don't have time to think about our true nature as human beings. We're more or less domesticated animals. We're like a dog or a cat. A dog or a cat relies upon its owner to give them things, and it uses its instincts to get what it can when the owner isn't around to feed them. If I don't feed my cat's gonna have to go around the neighborhood and fucking hunt mice or lizards or something to eat, or find loose water to drink, or anything. And my cat's more than capable of doing that, but would prefer not to, obviously. And that's a lot like us. We're capable of surviving one way or another. That's not the issue. The issue is that we are not of a mental state to even imagine doing anything more with our lives. We cannot fathom the idea of changing the world in and of itself, and changing the minds of the collective for a greater good. And because of that, it's just open season for anyone that calls himself or doesn't call himself Illuminati. It's just open season for anyone that's rich and powerful, anyone that has a good idea or a bad idea, anyone that has any kind of mental or physical power whatsoever. It doesn't matter if they're financially well off, it doesn't matter if they're like a cult leader and know how to, wave together the trust of large amounts of people. It doesn't fucking matter. The point is, they're the ones calling the shots. And what are you going to do about it? Not a damn thing. And even if you do something about it, you will probably most likely fail. But the point of doing something about it isn't to succeed. It's to show yourself that you can. It's to show yourself that you will. That is the will to power. And after that, eventually, you will be able to do some of the things you want to do. There's a very big gap between being an animal and being a human being. And unfortunately, many of us will die long before we get away from that gray area, and That's what I'm trying to get across to you here. I myself am in the gray area. If I was as powerful as I would like to be, I would not get treated like shit the way I do. I would not get banned and censored everywhere I go. Valve would be paying me in millions of dollars right now for compensation of my account. Every moderator ever would be sued and have to show me the money and just fucking put it in my hands, cash. They would be shamed and humiliated. I would get my revenge and I would just adore it. I would revel in it. I'd be like a fucking pig in the mud. And it would be fucking great. But that's not how the world works right now. But I can only hope that it will sometime in the future. That is what it means to be like the Illuminati. They don't think in terms of, you know, I need to control this sector in order to maintain my power structure. You know, it's fucking stupid. Why would you want power if it takes struggle and fear in order to maintain it? You know, that defeats the whole purpose. If I'm afraid of losing my position, then it was never mine to have. You know? So power isn't about clinging to it and coveting it. It's about doing something with it. That's why you have to have the will before you have the power. Will to power. So, that's what I'm trying to get across. It really doesn't go into deep detail about the London conspiracy. Maybe I'll make a part 2 about it. But I just figured it might help people to know how they think, and then in turn they can kind of understand what we're dealing with here. It's not as simple as to say that it's just an organized mafia syndicate, you know, controlling things just to control them. Power for its own sake is all well and good, but it's amateur shit. You know, there's lots of different reasons to do what they do, but they have to comprehend in their minds why they're doing it and convince themselves that it's the right thing to do and to continue to pursue it regardless of what anybody says, regardless of the consequences, regardless of the threats that come at them because of it. You know, they didn't just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to, you know, rule the world's economy. I'm going to kill millions of people. I'm going to enslave children in third world countries and work them to death. You know, just didn't happen. That was centuries and centuries of plotting and building by ancient pharaohs and kings and other powerful rich people. And that, what the hell?